Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of the Pens Iceberg. I'm your host, Casey Stamp. Along with the Pens Iceberg panel, we've got Jason Kaczynski here tonight. How you doing, Jason?
I'm doing excellent, Casey. 9-game winning streak and puts a lot of smiles on the fans' faces, so couldn't be doing too much better.
Absolutely, and just a wonderful win over Boston the other night as well. We've also got Warner Lee here from NHLOffside.com. He'll be joining us as part of the Iceberg panel tonight. How you doing, Warner?
I'm doing great, Casey. I'm having a great day. How about yourself?
Doing awesome, especially with the news of the return of number 87, and we have got a great show for you all tonight. Of course, we will be talking about the return of Sidney Crosby. We're going to talk a little bit about Chris Letang as well. We're going to talk a little bit about the Mario Lemieux statue that they just had put up at the Consol Energy Center there in Pittsburgh. And we'll finish off, as always, with some game predictions. So don't go anywhere. We've got a great show for you tonight. Stay tuned. Welcome back. GMs are meeting in Boca Raton, Florida, but that's hardly the biggest news of the day, as Sidney Crosby will make his return to NHL action Thursday night against the New York Rangers at Madison Square Garden Arena. And here were Sidney Crosby's comments following practice.
Yeah, I feel good. Plan is to play Thursday, so got a good practice in, and just looking forward to getting out there Thursday.
It was a good long practice. Helpful to sit a little bit longer than usual.
Yeah, just to get out there with everyone and get some contact, get all that game situation stuff in. There's not a lot of opportunity this time of year for that, so it's good to get that in.
At this point, Sid, you've done all you can do in a practice at this point?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, tried to make sure I progressed and remained symptom-free, so everything's gone really well.
So why did the bumps and the contact in practice make that much of a difference when the game is just such a different atmosphere?
Well, that's as best as you can prepare. I mean, if you're going to go out there with no contact, obviously you wouldn't really know how you're going to respond. So you do the best with the situation and try to test yourself as much as you can. But I definitely agree. You're not going to get hit to the extent that you would in a game, but you've got to test that as best as you can in practice.
What do you think about the possibility of playing on the point on the power play?
It's a different spot for me. I played there in junior, so it's been a few years since I've been back there. But no, I like it. I think I'm able to see a lot of the ice there, and I've got Gino who loves that big shot in the sidewall. So my job will be to kind of distribute the puck amongst everyone. But when he's shooting the puck like that, just giving it to him in that area and letting him work there.
Sid, any idea where you'd be on a line with Kennedy and Cook today for some part? Is it going to change, or might that be it?
That's where I was today, so I'm pretty sure I'll end up with those two. I wouldn't see Coach putting me with a different pairing after missing this much time. I'm sure he's trying to get guys used to playing with one another. So I'm sure that like any game, that's always kind of changing, and different line combinations are common. But probably for the most part, yeah, that's who I'll be with.
What's the dynamic of that line, Sid? You got cookies who can bump people around, go to the net. You got two taking skate and shoot the puck.
Yeah, I think that's exactly it. Cookie's pretty responsible both ends of the ice, and goes to the net hard, creates loose pucks. TK's the same thing. He's got great speed and creates turnovers, and he knows how to shoot it and find those areas. So that's exactly it. We're going to try to move our feet and control the puck down low, and generate some good chances, hopefully off the cycle.
You haven't played with those guys much over the years, have you?
No.
You've been with Stahl quite a bit when you've been
Yeah. So I know them pretty well. We've been together at different points, not necessarily as a line, but separately, and both bring speed, and hopefully that'll be a big element on our line, is just creating loose pucks and hopefully creating some good chances.
So you've been through this before. Do you feel mentally about the same you felt in mid to late November before you came back?
Actually, I probably feel a little bit better, just knowing what to expect, and it's just I think it's just easier going through it this time. I know what to expect, and that first game was pretty overwhelming, and it was a lot of fun. But that being said, I think I'll take it a little bit more in stride this time and make sure I'm getting better every game, but also try to pace myself a bit, especially with the schedule. It's going to be draining enough here getting back into it, so I got to make sure that just try to be progressive as possible.
So probably not 17, 18 minutes?
We'll see. I mean, see how I feel. I don't really know what to expect. I'm sure the first game, no. But, obviously this time of year is a little different than coming in, when I did last time. So pace is a little bit higher, and, the intensity and the importance of the games is a little bit higher. So, I'm sure that there'll be kind of a feeling out process and see how things go.
Is there a prospect sometime soon of all the skaters finally being healthy on this team?
I don't want to talk about it. I hope so.
It's already a team that's won 9 in a row.
Yeah.
If you get guys back, it's not a bad thing.
No, not at all. I mean, we're playing some really good hockey, and we've got some big games coming up. Some really good hockey teams. So, the timing's right. For everyone to be together here, and we need our best games here down the stretch. So, I think we're all excited for that.
Sid, 9 wins in a row. Has it been easier or more difficult to be out while the team has won 9 in a row?
I don't think it's any easier either way. I mean, when you're out, you're out. And I think, if anything, you're just, really happy for the guys and, happy that everyone's having success, the team's having success. But it's never easy watching, no matter if you're losing some games or you're winning, when you want to be involved in it too. So, I think that it's never easy, but I think if anything, you just you're happy for your teammates and happy the team's having success and preparing yourself to get back and contribute.
All right, we just heard Sidney Crosby's take on the whole thing. Jason, with Sid coming back this late in the year, does it provide that little extra boost? Some may say that, on a 9-game win streak, maybe we're peaking too early. With Sid coming back at this time, does that give us the extra energy to push through and possibly extend this win streak?
Absolutely, I definitely think. And the way the Penguins are kind of approaching this, at least with the first game back, anytime you can make an acquisition to get someone like Sid without giving up anyone on the roster. And, I think that was kind of the sense from players in the room, regarding Ray Sherrill status quo at the trade deadline. And they know what they have there. And I think whether, they try to run the table or not, but you always want to be playing your best hockey at this time of the year. It's, other teams toward the bottom are fighting for points, and, the Pens are trying to fight to overtake the Rangers for the top seed in the East. Sid's going to start on the third line with Matt Cook and Tyler Kennedy, and that way, you can kind of manage his minutes so he doesn't have to play, 20 plus his first game back, and maybe we'll give a boost to some of those guys. I know he hasn't played too much with either of those guys extensively in the past, but maybe he can provide a boost for Tyler Kennedy, get him some confidence going and start lighting the lamp. But the other thing with that is, you don't disturb the chemistry of the top 2 lines right now. Getting Malkin and Jordan Stahl are just carrying the lines, and you can see some tinkering down the stretch. I'm sure Dan Boswell will have some fun with that. Maybe playing sit with Stahl a little bit and what you can do, but it'll be fun to watch nonetheless.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it's going to be a little feeling out period for the Pens the next week or so, just to see what kind of player Sid's going to be coming back. Is he going to play a more passive game? Is he going to continue playing a in your face, like, all out 100%, knowing that he's had these injuries now? And so I think the Penguins are going to be a little cautious, and I'm talking about the players on the ice. It might be a little bit of a couple speed bumps here and there, just so that they can adjust to what Sid's going to bring to the team. It might come from a different angle. He might have to play a little less full contact, and but they'll be okay. I mean, I think the Pens, like Jason said, they'll be okay. I mean, when you get a player like Sid, and Jason's right, I mean, when you don't have to give up a player and you get an asset like that with his skill set, I mean, you can't go wrong. And this is not a player that's just been added to a team that has no idea what the team chemistry is about. This is a player that's been on this team. He's part of the chemistry, and he's going to continue to be part of the chemistry. And the thing is that I believe the Pens are one of the teams to beat in the East. And if Sid can somehow, not have these lingering concussion issues, I mean, it is going to be a fantastic ride for any Penguin fan. And the thing they say, I mean, it's too bad Sid can't watch himself play. It's a great tragedy because he's such a great player that he brings so much to the game and to the team. And with Malkin, yeah, his points are going to drop. Of course, they're going to drop. But you know what? It's going to be more of an offense. It's going to be more complete of an offense with Sid in the lineup. So you don't mind Malkin's points dropping because he's going to be a more complete player now. He doesn't have to carry all the load of the offense.
Well, certainly, as Jason mentioned, Sid will be on the line with Matt Cook and Tyler Kennedy. Don't necessarily expect that to stick because Bilesma did address that today, said that he expects to tinker a bit just before the playoffs get started. And one of the ideas that was thrown around was that perhaps Jordan Staal could be on Sidney Crosby's wing. Jason, what do you think of that idea?
I like the idea. The one thing that really can't get lost in the shuffle in this is just the development and the offensive flourish we've seen from Jordan Staal. He needs to get, pretty much the same minutes he's getting now, and that's something the coaching staff's going to watch. But I like him, being he's a force. He's one of the strongest players on the ice. He'd be a great winger, I think, for Sid for maybe not full time, but just to throw some different looks at the defense and cause some matchup problems. And as much as you can do that, especially if you have the home ice advantage and you have the last change, it can really throw things off for the other team. But I think what you would really want to do, and you'll probably see this close to playoff time and in the playoffs, is each of those centers anchoring their own line and probably reuniting the best third line in hockey, as what we heard with Staal, Cook, and Kennedy, and whether Sid plays with Dupuis and Sullivan, or you move Kunitz down to that line and put Sullivan up with Malkin and Neal. I don't know if it really matters too much because as we've seen with Dupuis, he's very versatile. Same with Sullivan. He's been playing on the top two lines really this year, the third line. Those guys are good players, like to play with each other. And as long as Staal gets his minutes, and he will on the PK, but I think that would be a nice trick in the bag for Dan Bilesma to have.
Yeah, just like that. You know what? I mean, look at that lineup, and I would say the two unsung heroes. I mean, we know who the heroes are going to be on this team. It's going to be obviously Malkin and James Neal, and obviously Letang. But the two unsung heroes that really solidifies this Pittsburgh Penguin team is Stevie Sullivan and Matt Cook. I mean, Stevie Sullivan is just a great addition. At $1.5 million, can you ask for anything more? I mean, with all the injuries that they've come through with this year, he's just a solid player, veteran, solid player. And Matt Cook, I mean, I didn't think I would say this this year, seeing how he played last year, but he's kept his cheap shots and whatever people want to call it in check. No suspensions, 30 minutes and penalties, leadership, put some points on the board. He's got a dozen goals. I mean, these are the unsung heroes, and these are the players I think should get the credit of pushing. And also, you look at the Derek Englands that filled in very nicely with more of a leadership role in the back end there. And I think these are the players who are going to carry them through in the playoffs. I mean, we know what we should expect from Malcolm. We know what we should expect from the Neals and the Coons. We know what to expect. It's the players that are going to give you more than what you expect. It's going to win you a Stanley Cup.
I completely agree, Warner. And Matt Cook, some people would say that perhaps if we had him in the series against the Tampa Bay Lightning last year, even just him, maybe he would have turned the tide of that series. We were so close, just one goal away. And certainly, I think Sullivan has really been heating up as of late. And Pascal Dupuis, I mean, he really started off the year so well, kind of went away there for the middle stretch of the season and has just come back with a vengeance now. Of course, he's on a scoring streak, and I think people often refer to it as the Dupuis trade now over the Hossa trade, but certainly all the parts of this team are heating up at the right time, and now we have won 9 straight going into Madison Square Garden to play the New York Rangers. And going back to Chris Letang here, when a lot of people saw the hit that was put on Chris, a lot of people kind of were ready to jump off the bridge and say, well, maybe that's the straw that breaks the camel's back, because even though we have Malkin, Chris Letang is such a fantastic defenseman. I mean, in terms of just speed and puck retrievals, he's such an important guy to this team, and it's evident clearly on the power play, and we haven't had as much luck on the power play with Letang out. Jason, how crucial is it for Chris Letang to be back in pretty short order here to get kind of accustomed to the physicality right before the playoffs, and how much of a difference do you think a guy like him will make come the postseason?
You could make the argument that, for a guy that adds value to his team based on, someone replacing him, the top guy could either be Fleury or Letang, because, if Sid's out, Malkin can step in, or Stahl can step in, or if, Brooks Orpik is out, Derek Englund will step up, and you can call up some of the young depth defensemen from Wilkes-Barre. But when Chris Letang is not in the lineup, the Pens they're a lot different, and it affects everybody in the lineup, not only on the power play, but the skilled centers that usually look for the quick outlet passes. It affects the defensive pairings. Letang's great on puck retrievals and his speed, and can just join the rush, and he has a physical element to his game that's just downright nasty at times. So he's you can't replace him. I mean, even if you put Niskanen on the power play, he's been hitting the net, and he had a nice goal the other day, but he doesn't replace the offense that Letang has. Neither does Paul Martin. There's nobody else like him. So I think the Penguins could probably get out of a round or two without him, but for them to really seriously compete for a cup, it would be pretty hard. And that's why there's I think Ray Shero has stocked up on the defensemen that are in the system. Having 8 or 9 NHL-ready defensemen, because they're a luxury to have this time of year. But Letang is a Norris candidate, and when healthy, and the power play was, I think, 0 for 15 to start without him. They got one the other day, but he's critical to the success of this team.
I love Letang, resilient. I mean, you look at this player and you go, wow. I mean, in the last few years, this guy has had as his line mates, Ryan Whitney, Don Shark, Galagoski, and these guys they're gone. I mean, through free agency trades, whatever, they're gone. And he's learned to play against some real high-end players, and he's learned from them. And the thing that the kid's got concussion problems, broken nose, I don't know what's going to happen to him next. But the thing that this kid can play, he's a gamer, and he's got high-end talent. The guy can skate like the wind, and he makes the players around him better. And that's one thing that you can't take away from him, is that the offense starts from the defense, and that starts from him. And without a mobile back end, Pittsburgh doesn't like Jason said, they don't really have a chance to go far in the playoffs without a mobile back end, and he is it. So he is very important to the Pens in order to get to the third and maybe possibly to the Stanley Cup final.
And Chris Letang is just so vital for the Pens in terms of playing the point in the power play. I mean, Steve Sullivan's been back there this year. He's done a pretty good job, but the power play numbers are just so much evident with Chris Letang, how much better they are. And another quick question for both of you guys before we hit the break here. Thursday night, New York Rangers. I don't think the stage could be any bigger. Possibly first in the Atlantic, kind of riding on the rest of the season series between these two teams. How big is this game for both teams? And do you think that the winner of this series and possibly Thursday night's game will win the Atlantic Division and therefore the Eastern Conference?
It's certainly a big game Thursday, and for not only the short-term future, but maybe the long-term future of both teams. In the grand scheme of things, I don't know that the division title or the top seed in the conference matters as much. I think if each team would definitely like to have it and have that edge over your conference rival. But I think the way it's really setting up in the conference is that Pittsburgh and New York are looking like they're destined to meet at some point here in the playoffs. whether that's the second round or the conference finals. Not to get too far ahead, but it's also in the grand scheme of things. You just want to be able to play. You're looking at games remaining in the teens now, and just to stay healthy, to keep going at a good clip, chemistry-wise, power play, special teams. I think it's just important to as Coach Boswell always says, get to their game, and that's just strong on the forecheck, and but especially you can catch the Rangers maybe Thursday night paying too much attention to the Crosby return, and maybe sneak 2 points out of there. The Penguins are 6 points behind the Rangers with the game in hand. 2 games remaining against the Rangers, so it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility. But I think in the grand scheme of things, it's not as big. But you'll be seeing these teams, I think, in the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, I think that Jason's hit it right on the head there, nail on the head. I mean, it is only 2 points both these teams are probably pretty much guaranteed a spot in the playoffs, and it's more of for Pittsburgh. I think it's more to see. More about. I mean, let's be honest. It's more about Sidney Crosby on Thursday than anything else. I mean, we're going to see how he responds for not playing the last 3 months. We want to see how he's going to play. So this is more of what you would call an audition for Sidney Crosby. Let's just see what he's got. I mean, let's just see how he's come around. And exactly. I mean, it's only 2 points in the standings, and positioning right now is important because you do want to have a team that matches up well against you. You don't want to have a team that doesn't match up well. Just like if you looked at the finals last year with Vancouver and Boston, Vancouver didn't match up well against Boston. And that's the same thing. In the beginning in the first round, you want good matchups, and especially if you're a team like Pittsburgh, who's got some injuries. We don't know how he's going to come back, how he's going to play them. So you do want to have a good look at Sidney on Thursday and analyze and go from there.
Absolutely, and certainly the Penguins would love to try to hunt down the New York Rangers here and get that first spot, and certainly would love to take the Atlantic Division title after losing it to Philadelphia last year, and certainly they want to get a good matchup in the first round. All right, folks, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll have a little bit about the Mario Lemieux statue, and then we'll finish up with some game prediction as always. So don't go anywhere. We've got a great rest of the show for you. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Wednesday, before the game with the Penguins and the Maple Leafs, Le Magnifique was unveiled. Le Magnifique, of course, is the statue of Mario Lemieux out front, the Consol Energy Center. And I mean, really, you couldn't get a more deserving guy. Gretzky has one here in Los Angeles. I'm right by the Staples Center, so I go by the Gretzky statue all the time. But in all seriousness, Mario Lemieux here, just such a great player, and even more so what he does off the ice for the city of Pittsburgh. I mean, he saved the team twice, donates millions of dollars in cancer research, certainly with his Mario Lemieux Foundation and the Austin's Playroom Project. It does so much, not only for the team, but for the city. Jason, give us your best Mario Lemieux memory.
Wow. It's got to be pretty close to tied as far as just the iconic goal he scored against the North Stars in the 91 Stanley Cup Finals to just really bring the house down at the Civic Arena then. And the other one was his comeback in 2000. When he retired, I never really expected him to come back again. And then you hear 3 years later rumblings and he's working out in secret, and he announces it, and they just go on an incredible run after that. But and he was still at his peak, so that first game back was pretty magical. Seeing his name lit up, or his number lit up on the Mellon Arena roof, and just seeing him on the ice again, it was nice to see. So those are probably my two favorites.
Well, I mean, let's not forget now when we talk about that statue. We got two more sets of parents that are real proud too. I mean, Rich Pilon and Jeff Nord just got their statue erected up in Pittsburgh too, and You know, I mean, let's be honest now. I mean, there's another two average players that Mario Lemieux has carried into immortality. I mean, you know, amongst all the other ones he's played with in Pittsburgh. So let's give a little of a shout out to Pilon and Norton there. And the thing is that the most memorable, you know, I think they didn't want to do it, but I mean they could have also put the Ray Bork out there too. But I guess they didn't want to have Ray Bork's statue out in Boston probably one day and over in Pittsburgh. But that's probably the most memorable in terms of plays. But you know, there's so many memorable moments. I mean, 2 Stanley Cups. You know, I mean, but the most important thing, in my opinion, is that I don't remember the exact date, but the thing is that when he had cancer treatment and he came back and played that same night, you know, and you know, I mean that about sums up Mario Lemieux as a hockey player and as a person, you know, and the courage that he has shown throughout his career, battling bad backs, you know, cancer, you know, fighting just to keep the Pittsburgh Penguins in Pittsburgh. I mean, I think that's more important than I think probably the Stanley Cups he held over his head. It's just the intangibles that he brings, you know, to the Pittsburgh franchise. And again, you know, my hat's off to him.
In the grand scheme of things, I think you're absolutely right, Warner. What matters most is who he is as a person, and he is just a fantastic human being. Going back to the memory that Jason shared, the comeback in 2000, I actually have that framed here on the wall in my office. I look up at it every day, and it's just inspiring because Mario Lemieux is such a fantastic guy, and he has overcome so many hurdles that life has thrown at him. And honestly, no more. I don't know of a player that deserves a statue more. And of course, you know, it's a metaphor, him splitting the defenseman for the things that he's overcome in life. And of course, we heard Mike Lang say that at the, you know, his speech, and it was just a great moment to see Mario Lemieux honored that way. And at the same time, you see Mellon Arena in the background coming down. It's half torn down up there. It's where one thing ends, another begins. And of course, great to see the great one, Mario Lemieux. Of course, that was Gretzky's nickname, but I think if you say the great one in Pittsburgh, it's equally true for Mario. Great to see him honored in that way. All right, let's get on to some game predictions here. Thursday night, New York Rangers. We've already done a little bit of analysis on it, but we haven't got final scores or what we think is going to happen in the game here. Thursday night, MSG, Pens, Rangers, perhaps to see who could win the division here. Jason, we'll begin with you. What do you think is going to happen in this game, especially considering that Lundqvist was ill tonight and he may not play on Thursday? With that uncertainty, does that give the Pens a big advantage?
I think it gives them a little bit of an edge, absolutely. The Rangers did win tonight, but they looked shaky defending the rush. Carolina was really successful tonight in just grabbing the puck and you know, having 2 or 3 guys, you know, use a center drive and cut to the net. And the funny thing I think about Thursday is, you know, who are the Rangers going to defensively? They're going to put on Crosby technically on the third line. Will he be seeing the third pairing D-man? I mean, that's a lot to ask. If not, maybe, you know, Jordan Staal sees the weakest of the defenders there. But I think with the focus so much on Crosby, you're going to see the other Penguins feed off of that and step up and just try to, you know, again, you know, just get the edge on the division leaders and the division rival and go from there. But Flowers on his game. I like the Penguins, and I actually like them probably by 2 goals in this one.
Well, you know what? If Henrik Lundqvist is not in net, you heard it here first. It is going to be a Pittsburgh victory. The emotion that Pittsburgh's going to carry into that game is going to give them, in my opinion, obviously, it's going to give them a win by more than 2 goals. I mean, it's unbelievable. Just the emotion level in the New York Islander game when Sidney came back the first time around in November, and if he can even replicate that, and the whole team can even feed off of that, this will be a big win for Pittsburgh by 2.
So Pittsburgh by 2 is the general consensus here for the Rangers. Then Saturday at 1 o'clock, yet another afternoon game. The Pens will take on the Devils. Now they've had a bit of a problem with the Devils this year, last year, for whatever reason, the New Jersey Devils just seem to have the Pens number. Perhaps something could change Saturday, but of course, Ilya Kovalchuk may be the hottest player right now. He's catapulted himself to 5th in scoring, finally heating up there in New Jersey and perhaps becoming the player that they signed for that ridiculously long-term deal here. Jason, Saturday against the New Jersey Devils, what do you see happening in that game?
Well, they have 3 games in the sort of the New York area there, and 2 road games, they've been good and they've been bad on these weekend afternoon games, and I'm just torn. I don't like the idea of the opponent, especially for this early one. But I think what the Pens need to do is really get on their forecheck, and it's hard to do against New Jersey because if Brodor's back there, the way he handles the puck, he's like an extra defenseman for Pitt to get things going when they play Jersey. And like you said, Kovalchuk is red hot right now. He's climbing the scoring leader chart at a pretty good pace, and he's playing all zones. So at this point, though, Pittsburgh having won 9 in a row, and you look at maybe 10 at the Thursday versus the Rangers. I can't pick against them. I'll say a 3-2 Pittsburgh win on the road.
I don't know. I mean, this could be a great matchup because when you really think about it, I mean, New Jersey, like you guys said, I mean, Kovalchuk's on a roll, and I mean the balanced scoring they have this year. I had no idea. I couldn't even foresee that come when it was training camp and preseason. I thought New Jersey is going to be one of those teams that could be the bottom feeders. But Marty Brodeur is playing great. I mean, he's not the Marty of old, but he's making an impact nevertheless in each game that he's played. And statistically, he's right up there with the best in the league. I mean, maybe not to his standards as future Hall of Famer, but he's making an impact. And if I had to look, I mean, depending on a lot of different, I would say with momentum, I hate to say it, but I mean, this is a speed bump I'm going to call against Pittsburgh. I'm going to say New Jersey's going to get this one 5-1.
And perhaps they could get the win Saturday. For whatever reason, as I said, New Jersey just seems to have the Pens number as of late, and hopefully the Pens can get that turned around this weekend, though. Tough afternoon games. If you listen to Aaron Ashram's radio show, I actually checked it out the other day, and the old 2-9er Phil Bork mentioned that it was another afternoon game, and it was kind of a funny reaction from Aaron Ashram. He was like, oh, no, another afternoon game, and certainly those aren't the most enjoyable experiences for players when you have to get up even that much earlier. All right, folks, that's going to do it this week for our show. We want to give a special thanks to Warner Lee from NHL Offside once again for joining us. Warner, thank you so much. You did wonderful this week, and we'll be talking to you again in the future.
No problem. Have me back anytime, my friend.
Absolutely. And Jason, thank you so much for joining us as always, and we'll be right back here with you next week.
Absolutely. Remember, 10's better than 9.
10's better than 9, possibly 11 better than 10 this Saturday. All right, folks, from all of us here at the Pens Iceberg, I'm Casey Stamp. Have a great night and a great week.